Well, how long has it been since we've been together? Feels like it's been a while, even though it was just last week. But you know what? I think it's time to spill some tea. Romeo and Juliet have managed to really get themselves into a pickle, and things have gotten even worse than before. Would you like a cup of tea? Let me pour you some. Here you go. Okay, so what were we talking about last time? Oh, right. So, Juliet, of course, had refused to marry Paris, so she took some crazy sleep potion from Friar Lawrence. Like, didn't anyone tell her not to accept strange drinks from people? She really needs a friend to just slap that right out of her hand. Am I right? Anyhow, so she took the potion, and now her family thinks she's dead, right? So they go ahead and bury her in their tomb, but you know what the problem is? One of Romeo's servants finds out about the funeral. So this guy, Balthazar, one of Romeo's servants or whatever, like, who is this guy? This is the first time we've even seen him, and suddenly he's important enough to, like, take major plot updates to Romeo. That just seems like lazy storytelling to me, Shakespeare. Anyhow, so Balthazar just rolls up and tells Romeo that Juliet is dead. In Romeo's defense, he does ask Balthazar if Friar Lawrence has sent him a message or anything like that. But Balthazar, of course, is not important enough to carry messages, so he doesn't have a message from Friar Lawrence. Romeo is just, like, of course, flipping out, and he tells Balthazar, like, hey, you should go, like, run us some horses so we can ride back really fast to Verona. And Balthazar is like, okay, I'll go do that. And Romeo, he's like, I've got some errands to run, and he doesn't bother telling Balthazar that one of his errands to run is preparing to kill himself. Right. I mean, like, you should have guessed that, right? Because as soon as Balthazar is gone, what does Romeo start to do? Yeah, he starts talking about suicide and how he can't bear to live if Juliet's not in this world. Like, I just want to tell him to slow his roll, you know? He's so certain that Balthazar is right about this without getting any verifying information. Like, he's just ready to jump to this conclusion. So anyway, like, he goes on this underground hunt for a pharmacist who'll, like, sell him some poison. Like, what are you even doing, dude? You know what he does when he finds an apothecary who will sell him this poison? He low-key insults the guy by saying, hey, you look pretty poor and like you're starving and desperate for money, so I bet you're going to sell me some poison, huh? Well, of course, that makes this guy a little ticked because he's just been insulted. And he's like, well, I can't make the potion. It's illegal. Romeo flexes by pulling out like 40 gold coins from his pocket and is like, hey, I can totally buy you off. You may as well sell me some poison so you can have some money. And the apothecary is like, fine, I don't want to, but I'm going to do it. And Romeo's like, yeah, you are. So then he gives him this like bottle of poison and says, it's got enough poison in here to kill 20 men, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that's literally overkill to give Romeo that much poison. Like, isn't that a little irresponsible? Whatever. But the apothecary sells it, and Romeo takes it and is like, I'm going to go back to Verona, and I'm going to go find Juliet's tomb. I'm going to lie down next to her and take this poison so that we can be together in death. Oh my gosh. He is such a drama queen. Anyway, did you wonder the same thing that I kind of started wondering? I mean, like, what happened to the message that Friar Lawrence did send to Romeo? I mean, how did Balthazar get there before the message did? Well, that is definitely some good gossip, let me tell you. So, Romeo's busy buying poison, right? At the same time, Friar Lawrence is like, just like hanging around his cell or whatever. And his friend Friar John shows up. Who's Friar John, you might ask? Guess what? It's another nobody that we've never met before that Shakespeare is just throwing at us because who knows why. But Friar John was the guy that Friar Lawrence was like, hey, take this message to Romeo that says, Juliet's not really dead. She's just pretending. So cool it. Don't try and do anything stupid. But Friar Lawrence, he's like, hey, John, how'd your journey go? Did you get a message back from Romeo? What did he have to say about the plan? And Friar John just does that kind of slack-jawed stare where he doesn't know how to say, I failed. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Anyway, in a weirdly modern turn of events, it turns out that Friar John got stuck quarantining at some guy's house because people thought he was exposed to the plague. Crazy, right? Like that would never happen now. Anyway, because of that, he didn't deliver the message, and he just hands the note back to Friar Lawrence. I could not send it. Here it is again. I couldn't get a messenger to send it to thee. What? Can you even imagine? You had one job to do, John. One job. All you had to do was deliver a message to Romeo. How hard is that? Apparently, if you're Friar John, it's really freaking hard. Ugh, that guy is the worst. Period. Anyway, so Friar Lawrence, instead of yelling at John like I might have, just tells him to go get a crowbar so they can break into the tomb before Romeo gets there, because Juliet is going to wake up in 3 hours. Well, that doesn't sound too urgent. I mean, surely they can get to the tomb that's in Verona before Romeo can get to the tomb from Mantua, right? I'm sure Friar Lawrence won't have anything to regret about any of this. Well, Friar Lawrence also says he's going to send another letter to Mantua, and in the meantime, he's just going to go get Juliet and hide her in his room. Why he hasn't done this already, I don't know. This is all such a disaster. Isn't it great? So Romeo is on his way back from Mantua, ready to drink some poison and end it all. And Friar Lawrence is about to bust Juliet out of the tomb and has no idea that Romeo is nowhere near where he said he'd be. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about what's going to happen next. You better believe it's going to make for some great gossip.